Thank you. Whoop, thank you so much. Thank you, Richard. Thank you, Jason. Thank you for this opportunity, and thank you all for being here. Back in 2016, when I walked out of HypnoThoughts Live, and it didn't seem like anyone knew who I was, I made a decision that I was going to be a speaker the next year, and went through a few little trials and tribulations. I ran into Richard, actually, speaking of domains. He called me. There's this number on my phone. It was a Las Vegas number, and he says, "You own the Hypnosis Nevada domain." And I said, "Yeah." And he's like, "What do you want for it?" And I said, "Just talk to Scott and let him know I put in an application," and put it in front of him. And at that time, I just thought that I was going to be speaking in front of a small group of people at the next conference. I had no idea that it would ever turn into this. So I am extremely grateful to be here. I'm extremely grateful that you are all here. And I just want to take a moment also just to, mention a few key points that we learned this weekend. We started off with this whole redesign your life theme when Richard broke down the acronym. And I had no idea that he was going to do an acronym, and you'll find out why that's kind of a surprise in a moment. And then we, talked to Connie Jo, who talked to us about the one more degree, which was profound. And then we talked to Jason, how he said, you're only going as, you're going as far as you can go on your own, and each of us are here because we've gone as far as we can go on our own. So it's always about learning and growing and getting that inspiration and learning more. And we also talked to, Dan, who talked to us about have to versus choose to versus get to. And so I am just extremely excited to get to do this. And all of that really wraps into what I want to talk about, which was so amazing because, back then, the other thing that I told myself when I walked out of there kind of feeling a little bit like a no-name, like I did it, like no one, knew who I was. And, I like to be recognized. But why do I like to be recognized? I want to contribute. I want this, I have a message that I want to share. And it was just interesting because when I said, everyone is going to know my name, when I walked out, and like every single person in the room that I have been in has said, Victoria Gallagher, Victoria Gallagher. And it's like, okay, I guess I manifested everyone knowing that, and so otherwise I wouldn't be here with you. So I want you guys just to take a moment, because I feel so grateful. I want to share that feeling of gratitude with you. So I want you just to think in your mind about something that happened over this last weekend that we've been here together, and just take a look around the room at all the people that have touched you in some way. Just take a moment just to breathe in, take them in, take in this moment of inspiration and gratitude. And what is it? If you could just sum up that feeling of gratitude and that thing that you feel grateful for, what's the one word that comes to your mind?
Togetherness. Love.
Family. Community.
Love.
So before you shout to the top of your lungs what that is. Who here was at OPA last night? Okay, all right. So we're going to have an OPA experience, except for what I want you to do in a moment. When I count to 3, I want you to have that word, and I want you to jump up. I don't advise doing the chairs in here. Jump up and say that word that you feel grateful for. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Woo! All right, thank you very much. So I want you to imagine with me for a moment. A world where everyone believed in themselves and pursued their dreams with passion. What would that world look like?
Not like this one.
What kind of amazing things could we accomplish if everyone believed in their self, in their ability to manifest, to achieve, to have abundance? Just imagine if you could turn your dreams into reality and achieve everything that you ever desired to achieve. Well, that world exists right now. See, I believe that there is a power, Rich would call it the it factor, that lives within all of us. It's a power that we all tap into without realizing it. This power is a force that runs everything. This power shapes our thoughts, it shapes our emotions, it shapes our actions. This power is how we perceive ourselves. This power has the ability to limit us or cause us to step into whatever it is that we desire to achieve. This power can cause us to achieve amazing things, or it can also cause us to stay stuck and never achieve what's inside of us, everything that's inside of us. You see, I believe that everyone has a dream. Do you believe that? Everyone has a dream that's actually a little bigger than we are right now. It's like bigger, but it's our destiny. And we get stuck from being able to achieve that dream. And I want to talk about why. Because this power is what separates the mere dreamer from the person who chooses and decides to take that dream and turn it into reality. Because ultimately, everything in this room, just take something out of your pocket, out of your purse, just take something. Okay? Anything at all. Every single thing that you are holding in your hand was once a dream. It was once a dream. Every single thing in this room. And there are millions of things in this room. Millions! So you just can't even really see them. But it all started as a dream. It all started as an idea in someone's mind. And it's this power that makes the difference between dreaming and making that dream a reality. This power is the power of believing. It's the power of believing. We've been talking about this all weekend. I was in Bob Martell's class. He gave me a book about unbelievable. It was unbelievable when I got the book, how connected we are. And so how do we get to this place of belief? Because I've kind of had this special determination, this special willpower that just, I've been knocked down so many freaking times, it's crazy. And I didn't really know where it came from. And I started kind of looking back, and I thought that it was at this point in my life. But then I went back a little further. And so I wasn't going to wear my glasses because, obviously when I don't wear my glasses, I feel a little prettier. But also, when I was, my parents divorced, 5 years old, 6 years old, moved from LA to Tacoma, and, first day of school, I kind of, go in, try to make friends with everyone. And I ended up having to go to the eye doctor and get these big, thick glasses. Not only that, but I had to wear a patch over one eye because I have this thing called amblyopia. It's a lazy eye. Now, it's not the kind of lazy eye that my eyes are not wandering, but one of my eyes just doesn't see as well. And so I had to wear this patch over my eye. And so my mom, so the kids obviously made fun of me over this. And I just wanted so bad to be one of the popular kids in first grade. And my mom, kids would tease me. They call me all kinds of names that rhymed with Vicky, and this is why I don't really like to go by the name Vicky. They call me Vicky, Icky, Sticky, you name it, anything that rhymed with that. And you know. So I pretty much bawled my eyes out pretty much every day walking home from school. And my mom didn't make things easier because she gave me this thing to tell the kids, because she wasn't very empathetic. She just didn't have that skill. She tried hard, but that wasn't like a skill. And so she says, just tell them that you took your eye out to keep an eye on the house. So I did. It did not improve my situation. So that's when, one day I'm walking home from school, crying my eyes out, and I do hear this voice that someday you're going to inspire people with your voice. I didn't know what that meant at that time, but I just heard you're going to inspire people with your voice. And in music class, the teacher said that I had like a really good voice. I'm like, maybe I'm going to start singing. So that's what I kind of started pursuing, singing. And in that same first grade, there was the play was put on by the sixth graders, The Wizard of Oz. One of my favorite movies. Who here loves The Wizard of Oz? And so I decided in that moment, in first grade, that when I get to sixth grade, I'm going to play Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz. And it was like magical because it gave me a new focus. It gave me this new dream. It gave me this new inspiration. It was everything to me to be able to get there and do that. And so fast forward sixth grade, I played Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, and I'm singing somewhere over the rainbow. And something just shifted in me. And I knew that if I could do that, which may not seem like a big deal now, but to somebody that age, I knew that if I could do that, I could do anything. And so then later on, after, I just wanted to get out of Tacoma as fast as possible, so I moved to live with my dad in LA, and my mom sent this book to me, this little book called Total Self-Confidence. And has anybody ever heard of this little book? So interestingly enough, the first secret of this book is called Dehypnotizing Yourself. And the author goes on to state that essentially we are a product of everything that we have convinced ourselves is true, or that somebody else has told us is true, that we are a product of our mistaken certainties. Our mistaken certainties. And it's very interesting. And he goes on to say that our number one goal in this life should be self-awareness. Because think about it, expanding our awareness, we're exposed to other things that we can now include in our awareness, and not just buy into everything that people tell us is true, or that we are telling ourselves are true, based on these mistaken certainties. And so I thought that was pretty cool, but it changed my life. And I had no idea at the time that I was going to become a hypnotist at the time. It was just really interesting, though, because I can go back to each of these times. So this power of believing has helped me in so many different ways. It has helped me to, well, there was one more quick story. When I was a sales assistant for a brokerage firm. And this brokerage firm, I decided to become a registered sales assistant, meaning that I could help my stockbrokers even more, and use this power to pass the Series 7. But I wanted even more. I didn't want to just be a sales assistant. I chose that I wanted to go ahead and be a stockbroker. And so I went to the branch manager and I said, I'm ready to go to the next level and become a stockbroker. And he says, oh no. Once a sales assistant, always a sales assistant. And I'm like, that's interesting. There are multiple brokerage firms in this building, so I'm just going to go upstairs. And I go upstairs and I talk to Wayne, the branch manager up there, and I said, I want to work for your firm. And he says, well, you don't have a college degree. And left out that part. And so I said, well, but I think I could sell. And I think I could do really well. And my father was a stockbroker for 30 years. And, I've already got my license. You don't have to pay the $50,000 to, get me my broker's license. So what do you say? No. And I kept going up every day. I went up there and for about 30 days. And finally he said, I'm going to give you a chance, because I just wouldn't take no for an answer. But who here knows people who, they would stop at the first no. And so just because something looks a certain way or seems a certain way at this point doesn't mean that it's true. As a matter of fact, I want you to think about right now your strengths and your weaknesses. So what are some things, how would you describe yourself?
Super cool.
Super cool. What are some weaknesses that some people think that they have?
She'll tell you all about them.
Shout them out. Procrastinate. Insecure. Lazy. Imposter syndrome. Okay? All of that's just BS. It's BS. And I don't mean bullshit. I mean, it's your belief system. I stole that from Karen.
Yeah.
Okay? That's just that's not true. It's not a fact. You can change that at any point. At any point. Change happens in an instant once you decide. Once you decide. So I've used this power throughout my whole life, to manifest my soulmate, to manifest my dream house, to create a six-figure digital business where I literally make money in my sleep. And I've been doing that since 1999. I mean, most people are just kind of catching on to that. But Wendy Friesen was actually my mentor. She was doing it. And interestingly enough, when I stayed the night at her, so when I first started doing, a lot of people told me that I was crazy. And, I quit my day job and everything to go do this. And I went bankrupt and I had all these problems. But the reason why I had all the problems was because when I quit my job, and I had to, I stopped working on my BS. I stopped working on my belief system. So I go out and I basically just work like 18 hours a day. And I stopped working on my belief system, so I went bankrupt. And that same voice that I heard back when I was in first grade kind of peeked in there and said, hey, you're making these tapes for people. They were tapes at the time, cassette tapes. You need to listen to them. And so I did, and it worked. And then I became successful doing that. So it's all about the belief system. We all make mistakes. We all kind of get off track. And so you got to get yourself back on track. So that's essentially kind of how I got here. And people talk about just believe in yourself, and you can do anything. Just believe. But how? How do you actually get yourself to believe? Experience. I mean, hypnosis, obviously. But how? And so what I did was, I started actually looking at believing. And it's not just working on, we work on our subconscious mind, but there's conscious things as well in order to keep it into the subconscious mind. Because we can go into hypnosis for a half an hour, but we can be the same person when we come out of it and start repeating and doing the exact same old things that were creating that result. So how do we believe? How do we believe? I created an acronym. I created an acronym to help you to remember how to believe. So I'd like everybody to go ahead and take out their notebooks. Okay. And we're going to talk about how to believe. Because here's the thing. Most of us, what we believe hasn't been generated from inside of ourselves. We look out there, we look at the world around us, and we let that dictate what to believe. So I want to teach you a little strategy that will help you to remember. And the very first B stands for be brave. Be brave. Now, why is it be brave? Because it takes courage to let go of those mistaken identities. It takes courage to decide that you are going to go for something. It takes courage to dream and boldness. When you are bold, you're telling the subconscious mind, I'm doing this. And it's going to get on board. And other people are going to get on board. So being bold, being brave, and to be perfectly honest with you, I had a hard time deciding between these two words, bold or brave. But they're kind of synonymous. So it's all about that choosing, making that choice from a place of boldness and braveness. All right? Now, what's going to happen when you be brave and you make this decision? The beliefs that you have, your existing beliefs, are going to come up. It's not existing. It's examine. Examine. And again, it was like one of examine, evaluate. There are so many words that start with the letter E, and thank goodness believe has so many E's. Examine the beliefs that you have right now. Ask yourself, where did I pick this up? Who taught me this? Where did I learn this? What is this belief getting me? Who is the person that I learned this from? Do they have what I want? Do they have the kind of life that I want? And if the answer is no, then you've gotten mistaken information. So be willing to examine the beliefs that you currently hold and evaluate them and ask yourself, are these actually true? All right, the next letter is L, look. So let's take a moment and look. Right now, I want you just to, and we've all done this before, but I'm just making a statement here, making a point. So I want you just to think, take a look around the room and look for all the people that are wearing the color blue. Look at all the people that are wearing the color blue. Okay? Now close your eyes. Close your eyes. And remember where you saw the color red.
Really? That hurt.
Okay, open your eyes. Look. Look for proof in this world that gives you that I can do this. Because if we're whatever we look at is what ultimately becomes true. We're all familiar with this, piece of our brain called the reticular activating system that basically filters out all the unnecessary data. And when you filter out the things that you never believed before, but you can now begin to look around and you can look for evidence in this world that says, I can do this. This is true. Bless you. You can believe. You can believe in yourself when you look around and you see evidence. All right? The next one is probably going to be my favorite, is I. What do you think that stands for?
Imagine.
Of course! It's imagine. Albert Einstein said imagination is everything. And every single thing in this world began as a thought in our imagination. And so if you can imagine something, I believe that if you can imagine something, you are meant to have it. Where did that idea come from? I mean, people act like their imagination is just fake. It's not fake. Those thoughts, those ideas, they came from somewhere. Who put that idea in your head? Where do you think it came from? It came from your higher self. And that's proof, that's all the evidence that you need to know that whatever you can imagine, it's done. You can achieve it. You can absolutely achieve it. All right, so imagine. The next, let's see here, we've got another E. All right. I love what Napoleon Hill says in the book Think and Grow Rich about how plain old unemotionalized words don't do anything. And so I like the word emotionalize for E. Getting emotional about whatever it is that you want, feeling the gratitude, feeling the excitement, feeling yourself into this reality, it makes it real. And it makes it more real, it makes it clear to your subconscious mind that you are having this. So some people think you can just fall asleep and all the words are just going to go into your subconscious mind magically, and I just kind of have a hard time believing that. For me, it's about seeing it and feeling it. And how can you do that if you just fall asleep? So it's emotionalized. You gotta get, and if you're not willing to get excited about what it is that you want, if you're not willing to feel it, you're not willing to take that time, then how is that even important to you? So then maybe it's time to kind of go back to B and say, what do I really want? Because I'm obviously not excited about this. So then we get into V, which is verbalize. Verbalize. And verbalize has to do with what you're saying to yourself. What are you saying to yourself? Because your subconscious mind's always listening to you. So what are you saying? It's verbalize. What are you not saying? What are you allowing yourself to buy into and believe? Are you keeping your agreements with yourself? Are you doing the things that you say? Because every word has power. Every word has power. And so it's really about tuning in and listening to the conversation that is in your mind and deciding that you're going to catch yourself when you start saying things that aren't lining up with what it is that you really want. Because your dreams are important. Finally, it is energize. Energize. Your dreams need energy. Do something. Do anything. It doesn't even necessarily matter exactly what you do. And with that, I have another story that kind of proves that energizing and taking action. So back when I was first opening up my office back in Las Vegas, I placed ads in the yellow pages. So does anybody know about that? So I placed ads in the yellow pages, and my phone just wasn't ringing a lot. And so I started buying all these little marketing DVDs online, and I bought this marketing DVD from the late great Jerry Kine. And what he said was, well, what you need to do is you need to get yourself a good pair of shoes. And you need to make yourself a brochure. And you need to walk up and down the street where you work, where your office is, and you need to hand everyone your brochure. Go to the business, say, I'm the local hypnotist here, and I can help people with this, and I can help people with that, and I can help people with that. So I did that. And so I noticed that my phone started to ring. But I would ask people, well, where did you hear about me? The yellow pages. None of them came to me from those silly brochures that I made that I spent $800 on. It was the yellow pages. And so it just kind of all made sense that it is this power, that it's this intention, I had to do something. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that you've got to work hard, but it does mean that you've got to do something. And setting that with the intention of creating whatever it is that you want. So with that, so we've got our be brave, we've got our, I always want to say evaluate, maybe it needs to be evaluate. We've got our, Yes, we've got our look, okay? I'm like, my ability to spell is needing improvement here. Okay, so you want to be brave, okay? You want to evaluate, you want to look, you want to imagine, you want to emotionalize, you want to verbalize, and you want to energize. And so I want you just all to take a moment, close your eyes, and I want you to imagine yourself that you've taken this long journey and you're on that yellow brick road. Taking that journey, going towards something that is important to you. And just think about what it is that you really, really want. What do you really, really want? And imagine that you have arrived at the great Wizard of Oz. And you're going to ask him, and you can ask him. He's actually a real wizard, not like the one in the Wizard of Oz. Like, this guy is for real. He can grant any wish. And you're there, and just ask him, what would you ask for? It could be anything. And open your eyes. And notice that you're still here. You're still in this place. But something inside of you began to shift for just a moment to allow you to tap into that dream that you really, really want. And just like Glinda the Good Witch came along and said, you know, you didn't need this great wizard, but it's been within you this entire time. And each and every person in here, and all of our clients, you know, we have such an amazing opportunity. We help other people to tap into their dreams, to achieve their goals, whatever it is, whether it's eliminating something that they've been carrying around with them forever, or stepping into a new future that they never allowed themselves to dream about before. And so the power is within us all to achieve amazing things. And so I'd like to kind of close on this note. Somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dream that you dare to dream really do come true. Thank you very much, and may you always tap into the magic of believing in your dreams. And I manifested this! Thank you, thank you, thank you.